Hello, and thank you for watching this regional forecast update for the Western U.S. I'm Andrew Pritchard, Senior Meteorologist with Nutrien Ag Solutions. We'll start with temperatures here on this Tuesday morning. I hope you had a wonderful holiday weekend. We've got temps in the low 20s in the Central Rockies here, down to the 30s and 40s as you get closer to the coast, parts of western Oregon, northern California. Then you can find some mid to upper 50s as you make your way down into Southern California this morning. We'll look at the satellite picture, and we've got a big wound up storm system across the eastern U.S. right now, bringing some snow to parts of the Great Lakes and the eastern Corn Belt, bringing in a lot of cold air on the backside here too. We got freeze warnings in effect all the way from Texas to the panhandle of Florida. We've got another little system that's trying to swing its way down across the Rockies, bringing some snow to parts of the northern Rockies over the last 12 to 18 hours, and that's now sweeping down into the central Rockies. We're going to have a little bit of a winter storm here across portions of Kansas and Oklahoma as we head into Wednesday and Thursday. I'm talking a lot about places that aren't the West because that is where the interesting weather is happening. Unfortunately, we do have a continuation of a dry pattern here across the entire West over the next 5 to 7 days, but we'll start to turn the precipitation back on across the Pacific Northwest as we get into the later part of the week. But let's go ahead and take a look at the now, which is, again, a quiet radar picture across the western United States, aside from a little bit of snow making its way out of Montana into Wyoming, down into Colorado here on this Tuesday morning. The hazards map from the National Weather Service, we've got dense fog advisories in effect across portions of western and southern Oregon into central and southern portions of Idaho. We've also got a freeze warning in effect here across the Central Valley. That was in effect last night, and then we have another one here as we head into the overnight tonight into tomorrow morning over that same portion there of Central California. We look at the last 7 days of precipitation. It's really reflective of an a La Nina pattern, and that is one that, again, would soak the Ohio River Valley and soak the Pacific Northwest, leaving us kind of dry here from the southwest into the northern plains. Again, the drought monitor, the latest from the 24th, again, continuing to show the worsening drought conditions here. But then I also put on the right side here, we're looking at the latest forecast for the drought tendency, the drought outlook for the month of December. And we're looking at a continuation of drought conditions across the West, and then also a worsening of the conditions here across Southern California as the pattern continues to look quite dry, at least out to the week 2 time frame in this region. Here's the next 7 days of forecast precipitation from the National Weather Service. We've got some light snow again across the northern and the central Rockies. We've got some late in the period moisture potentially making its way back into the Pacific Northwest, but then we really are left otherwise with a continuation of a very dry pattern across the western United States. Here's the next 2 weeks from the European ensemble. Again, very dry picture across the west. And the reason for that, we'll look at the jet stream pattern, starting off with ridging across the west. Of course, that's a problem. We've got the stronger jet stream flow well off to the north across northern British Columbia and southern portions of Alaska. And then as we take this into motion over the next 7 days or so, it doesn't get any better. We get a system right now, the one that is sneaking through the Rockies, delivering that little light round of snow to Montana through Colorado, and then eventually kicking off the winter storm across portions of Kansas and Oklahoma. The backside of that, the trailing wave gets cut off across the southwest, across northern Mexico, kind of along the Mexico, Arizona, New Mexico border as we get into the weekend. I'm talking about December 5th, 6th, and 7th at this point. So we end up with a blocked pattern, a high over low in the west, and that's, again, a pattern where we've got an area of high pressure across the Canadian Prairie, across the northern U.S., that trough across the south. So what we end up with is clockwise flow around that area of high pressure. We've got the cyclonic flow coming around our trough. The result is westerly flow coming off of the Rockies across California. And so I can simplify that here. We'll flip it over and look at the height pattern, the 500 millibar anomaly height pattern. Again, as we get into the later part of the week, getting into the first 5 to 10 days of December, this high over low pattern, this is about the opposite of what it would take to bring some moisture in from the Pacific. Instead, we're blowing dry air off the Rockies into California. And then as we head deeper into the pattern, eventually this is going to break down. These patterns can be stubborn, and so it's at times unclear how long it's just going to last. And right now it looks like it lasts at least through the first week of December, but even as it breaks down, we slowly bring some precipitation back into the Pacific Northwest, but there's not really any signal that we're going to, fling into a pattern that opens up the floodgates across California eastward into the Four Corners region. So I'm just going to jump straight to the precipitation forecast from the European operational model. We'll take the full wide North American view just so we can see the full scope of everything that's going on. Just to kind of set the stage, again, we've got this little system that's making its way through the Rockies right now, bringing a little bit of light snow. It eventually cuts itself off across the southwest. That high over low pattern forces the storm track well off to the north through the Gulf of Alaska into northern British Columbia. So that's where you will see all of the moisture in our very wound up storm systems as we head now through Wednesday. I'm going to take it a little bit further here. Thursday, getting into Friday, Saturday, continuing to be dry across the entire western U.S. It's as we get into the back of the weekend, early next week, that we may start to bring some moisture back into the Pacific Northwest, western Oregon, western Washington. That was a little splash of moisture right there Sunday into Monday, December 6th through the 7th. Potentially better chance here as a larger system starts to kind of disrupt the pattern and bring some moisture back in here. But this looks to me like perhaps a 10 to 14 day trend back toward that La Nina pattern that's maybe soaking British Columbia and the Pacific Northwest, and then once again bringing an active storm track through the Ohio River Valley, but again avoiding much of the western United States as we head into the middle of December. So again, I just would agree with the National Weather Service with NOAA's forecast here for not only a continuation of dry conditions across much of the West, but really starting to expand the drought across southern portions of California. So through the next 5 days, through Saturday, that's what you've got on the left, pretty much dry across the entire West. We've got that little ribbon of snow from Montana down into Colorado. As we head through the next 24 hours, this is just, trace amounts of moisture here possibly on the back half of the weekend. If I add in the next 8 days, so now we're taking it through Wednesday, December 9th through midday there. Again, we start to soak western portions of Washington and Oregon, maybe bringing some more snow through the northern Rockies, but still big problems as we focus in on California, into Nevada, Utah, and Arizona over toward the Four Corners region. Just not much hope there as we look out over the next 10 to 14 days. The snowfall that's going to be falling with that precipitation forecast again through the next 8 days, really focusing on the northern Rockies, if anywhere here. That's still not as if we're piling it up in this region. And then, of course, this snow right here, all falling in the next 24 to 48 hours. Good support from the GFS. I've been showing you a lot of data from the European models, the ensemble and the operational model, but just to show you the GFS, good agreement here on the bad news, which is again a continuation of dry conditions here, much of the moisture being forced well to the north across northern and western portions of British Columbia. Now, temperatures over the same time frame are going to be trending warmer as we see ridging increasing over the west. Of course, it is the first week of December, and we're just talking about some subtle warmth here at times, so we're not going to be scorching or anything like that over the next 10 days, but it does look like, we're talking about freezing temperatures in the Central Valley here over the next 24 to 48 hours. It does look like, by and large, most areas will be seeing temperatures near average or at least slightly above average as we head through the first week to 10 days of December. So here are your high temperatures for the day today. Again, we'll be seeing those overnight lows dropping down near the freezing mark into the upper 20s across portions of the Central Valley, but still topping out here right around where we should be this time of year. Afternoon highs for the day on Wednesday. We'll take it into Thursday. They kind of struggle to warm here as we head through the end of the week, but then we should see much more of not only the west, but the northern plains here through this region trending warmer as we head into kind of the December 6th through 10th time frame. I hope you had a great holiday weekend. Eric will be back with a look into the long range with our long range U.S. weather analysis on Wednesday. We'll have the next ag forecast update Thursday morning. I'll be back to check in on the western U.S. on Friday.